Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. Okay, that was kind of a weird note. Anyway, I was tagged by Rachel at Reader on the Right. I love her channel. She knows that. We got started about the same time. She's kind of like my booktube sister a little bit, so thank you, Rachel. Go check out her channel, Reader on the Right. I'll tag it below. But she tagged me in the Bookish Beginnings Tag. And so I went to Lauren at Reads and Daydreams, her channel, and she was the one that came up with this, and so I will post her video below as well, and you guys can go to that. If you want to do it, do it. I think there's some actually really good questions on here. If you're just starting your booktube channel, I think it's a great booktube tag to do to kind of like let other people know what you like to read, how you got to get started, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to get right into it. I don't really have any of the books except for one that I'm going to talk about. And I was actually like looking around for them and I thought, oh well, I'm just going to do the video. So anyway, let's get right into it. The Bookish Beginnings Tag. All right, number one, tell us about what you loved to read as a child. Well, if you want to go back and look, I did an entire video on my favorite children's books. But the more I thought about it, I was thinking about like today, like what did I really read like when I started reading, like second, third, fourth grade for me. Like when I would go to the library and there were books that I intentionally went to go look for like I do today. Okay, funny. I love the Choose Your Own Adventure books. I was obsessed with those. I got the whole set for Christmas one year and I was like, I couldn't believe it. Whole set meant like 5 paperbacks, I think, or something. They were very skinny, but I loved them. And then, and interestingly enough, a couple years ago, there's like an adult version of that, but it's kind of like scandalous, and I bought that, and I didn't love it as well. So anyway, I love the Choose Your Own Adventure books. I loved the Amelia Bedelia books. I love this book called, I loved all the Ramona Quimby books. And I said it, they were in another video I said by Judy Blume. I don't know why I said that, but it was by Beverly Cleary. I loved all the Beverly Cleary books, all the John Bellairs books. Oh my God, like The House with the Clock in Its Walls. I loved all of those books. And I was rereading actually some of them, but I'm gonna wait till this fall and do like a whole series read on them. And then I also loved, let's see what else. Oh, I love this book called, I think it was called like Kids Stuff or something like that. And it was about how they set up like this babysitting group. I don't know, I was like really obsessed with this book when I was a little kid. So anyway, not a little kid, but like in middle school. I just like read voraciously. I always tried to read things that were bigger than me. And I did sometimes, but I didn't really enjoy them as much as like things that were common and out then. So I do remember that in 4th grade, Mrs. Hop read us Help I'm a Prisoner in the Library by F. Clifford, and it's about these 2 little girls, Jo Beth and Mary Rose, and their dad, last minute Harry, is dropping them off at their grandma's because their mom is having a little baby, and I think brother, and so they end up waiting in the car while their dad goes to get gas because he runs out of gas in this blizzard, and then they end up going to this house, which ends up being this like Victorian library. I've talked about it in other videos. I was obsessed with it. So if you like to read middle grade fiction, or like elementary fiction, Help I'm a Prisoner in the Library, when Mrs. Hop read that to us in 4th grade, it changed my life. I can remember reading it or having her read it to us, and it would be like snowing outside, and I'd be like praying for a snow day the next day, and we'd have like hot chocolate. Oh my God, I loved it. I wish I was back in 4th grade again and Mrs. Hop was reading to us. I wonder where Mrs. Hop is today. She's probably not even with us anymore. Anyway, breaks my heart. Okay. I wanted to talk about this, was that my very favorite children's book when I was a little kid was a book, and I didn't know who it was by, and I just looked it up because I can't find my copy of it, and it's Mr. Rabbit and the Lovely President, and I should have known that it was by Maurice Sendak, because it looks similar to all of his other books. It was absolutely beautiful. It was about this very kind of haughty little girl who had to pick out a present for her mom for her birthday, and she didn't know what to get, and so Mr. Rabbit like goes, and he's like very sophisticated, and he tells her like all these things that she should get, like does she love purple? Well, then buy her purple flowers or things like that, or red tulips would be perfect. But anyway, I loved this book when I was a little kid, and I made my mom read it to me like every night. Okay, the next question is, what was the first adult fiction you tried or wanted to read when you were a kid? And so I was really thinking a lot about that. And it was interesting because I always tried to read bigger books than me. To Kill a Mockingbird, I think, was one of the first ones that I tried to read that was bigger than me. I also read Lucky by Jackie Collins when I was in 6th grade, and it just knocked my socks off. knocked my socks off. I became an instant fan of like that thriller romance stuff in 6th grade, and I don't know, I tried to emulate all of that, and you know, I was ruined from that point on. But anyway, it made me a lifelong fan of Jackie Collins, even though I know a lot of people don't consider her, you know, the greatest writer ever, and she just recently passed away last year, which makes me sad, but her books are incredible, and she knows how to weave a story like nobody's business. So I think Lucky by Jackie Collins was probably the first adult book that I read. Number 3, what was the classic book that you read not because of school? And I actually do have a copy of this, and it was A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I know the lighting is really bad in here, you guys. It's like 9:15, and so I was like, I want to make this video, and there's no lighting in my house, and our lighting is so poor anyway in here, so I was like, screw it, I'm just going to do it, but it's going to come across as very yellow or gold or red. Gold. Gold finger. But anyway, I'm sure you guys don't care. So anyway, I, you know, saw the play for school or with my mom or something, and then I wanted the book and I wanted to read it, and I like still every year, like I watch the movie, the old ones, like George C. Scott and before that. Like I love the old, like 1930 version of A Christmas Carol. Oh my God, what's inside of here? Let's see. Oh my God, it's a picture of Sandra Bernhard and Madonna. Look, I absolutely love them. So I probably haven't really honestly opened this book since I was in high school. Oh, and look, they're with Keith Haring. I cannot believe I have this picture. That is so crazy. Anyway, I used to be really obsessed with Sandra Bernhard, you guys. So anyway, that was the classic that I read for the first time. The next book, the next question, number 4, tell us about a book that made you realize a new favorite genre or writing style. I need a sip of drink first. You can buy a case of these for $20 at Costco. And this was not sponsored by the drink itself. But they're pretty delightful, I think. Anyway, this is gonna sound funny because this was actually just in the last year. I never read young adult. Can you guys believe it? I talk so much about it until I decided that I wanted to write a young adult novel, a teenage book. And so that coincided with me. I love YouTubers. Tyler Oakley is one of my favorite YouTubers. Hey Tyler, if you're watching my video, which I'm sure you are not. But anyway, he was talking on there about The Fault in Our Stars and how what an incredible book it was and all this kind of stuff. So, excuse me. So I actually went out and I got Fault in Our Stars that day. I was just like, if Tyler says it's a good book, well then I probably should get it. Like Tyler said that those Doritos tacos from Taco Bell are incredible, so if they're good, I have to have them, right? So anyway, I went out and I got The Fault in Our Stars by John Green that day, sat on my front porch right through that window out there, and I read the entire thing in one setting, and I have never done that, I don't think, in another book since. I mean, something really short probably, but I could not believe that book. I loved it so much, and like literally overnight, I fell in love with young adult novels, and that all last summer, that's all I read. I mean, that's all I read last summer was, the next book I read was The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider. Ah, that book wore me out. And then, we're going to get into the next question, but then I wanted to kind of start reading some LGBT young adult fiction, and so I looked at, let's go see what the next question is. What was the first literary prize winner that you read? Okay, so this is what happened. I'm sure I've read literary prize winners before that, but I don't know what they were, or are, or were, or are. Anyway, so, but the one that I consciously knew was that I had gone to, like, Google, like, YA book, LGBT books, and I couldn't really find any that, like, appealed to me just by the covers. It was interesting, like, if you pull it up on Google, you'll see what comes up. And so, like, and I wasn't, you guys, at that time, I was not on Goodreads. I didn't know a lot about Goodreads. The only thing I knew was that my book was listed on there, and I had, like, 20 friends, and that was it. I'm, like, super active on Goodreads now. But anyway, I did know about the Lambda Awards, the Lammies, and they honor, like, the best books in LGBT writing in the past year. And so I went to it, and I was looking at, like, winners in the young adult section, and Benjamin Alire-Saenz's book, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, had won, and it had won other awards as well. And so I got it on Audible, and I listened to it, and it just, I mean, can we just talk about that book for 2 seconds? Oh, probably not, because I don't have the time. But anyway, if you haven't read it, if you're one of the very few people that have not read, you guys cannot see all my hand movements I'm doing down here today. Can you also see my microphone? Oh, that's a joke from an old video. Anyway, I loved that book so much. It kills me when people say it's a book about gay teenagers. No, not really, and you're really spoiling the book for everybody if you read it that way and you explain it that way. It's really about a gay teenager and his friend is what it's about. And the book just really, it was, I think, so true to life. I think it really displayed Hispanic culture so well. I just loved every bit of it. I think that time period of which I grew up in it was just fantastic. I just loved every bit of it. It was so heartfelt. Oh my God, you guys. Rainbow Rao tweeted me back today. Made my day. Anyway, so yeah. So anyway, I love that book. That was the literary prize winner that I read. Okay, the next question is, what was the first piece of translated fiction that you read or want to read? And it's really interesting because I'm not really sure I know what the very first piece I was. I need another drink, hold on. I'm a little parched. Okay, so, but I just last week read, or just this week, I read The Dinner by Herman Koch, and I was blown away. I made my husband at brunch today sit and talk about it for half an hour, and he's like on his phone the whole time like this, looking through Snapchats. He had like no interest in listening about this book whatsoever. Oh, you know what? Actually, the first book that I read was, but I didn't finish, was 100 Years of Solitude. And maybe I'll revisit it someday. I just didn't think it was what everybody else thought it was. So really the first book that I consciously went into knowing that it was translated, and I thought it was translated very, very well, was called The Dinner by Herman Koch, and I just said that, and there I've lost my mind. If you guys would like to know a recommendation of a book that just recently came out that is also translated, my friend Cesar, I do not know how to pronounce his last name, but he's from Ecuador, and we are published by the same company. His book, A Safe Place with Me, which is about this group of gay kids in Ecuador that go to a conversion treatment center. There aren't many of those left in the world, but there are some where they try to change you from being gay to straight. He wrote a fictional novel about it. He is getting mass attention on CNN and by GLAAD and the Trevor Project. I'm so excited for him. His book is incredible. It's called A Safe Place A Safe Place for Me. Go check it out. And I'll put the link below for that as well. A safe place for me. A safe place. A safe place for me. So anyway, other than that, I don't know that I've read any other translated novels. I mean, I'm sure I have, right? I've read novels from all over because so sophisticated. Like The Rabbit and The Little Girl. Okay, the next book question, or the book tag question. Do you guys see how I like kind of wind down by the end of the video? It's kind of like slowly like one of those toys that you need to like wind up. Like I'm in Babes in Toyland, like right like that, see? Do you want to dance with me, dance with me, dance? I hope when I break out of my little dance breaks that you guys like all stand up and you start dancing and dancing and dancing and dancing. Okay, Snapchat me, Peter Mon, M-O-N-N. All right. Okay, the last question, Spirit Fingers. Okay, the last question on the Bookish Beginnings tag is, tell us about why you started BookTube and what it was like to film and upload your first video. Okay, I started BookTube because I have always wanted to be on YouTube and have a channel. In fact, my husband and I had one. It did okay. It's still up. It's still doing okay. But we never put anything on it. I had one by myself. Nobody wanted to watch it. I like talking into camera. I love watching YouTube videos. And for like the last 2 years, I've been really, really obsessed with watching booktubers. And I think some of the first people that I watched were like Lainey at Ginger Reads Books, Jessie the Reader, Tiernan at The Booktuber. There were like the three big ones that I would always watch. Natasha at Tashopolis, and Christine at Polar and Bananas, something, I don't know. Like everybody always corrects me on that, but I love her videos. And she's probably the very first one I found. And so, and Benjamin of Tomes. So I watched all of their videos for like 2 years straight, and I would just like, and this is why it means so much to me when people are like, I am marathoning your videos. Oh my God, when I get those comments, you guys, that means so much to me. Because I would literally sit there and for hours just watch these people's videos and got exposed to so many new books and all this kind of stuff. Jessie the Reader was really the very, very first one for me that just blew my socks off, and I just thought he was so real, and I just loved his videos. And so that was really why I started making it. I started a blog, I started a Bookstagram, it wasn't really my thing, and so one day I just turned on the camera, and I did it, and I did like a welcome video, and I really liked it. I was like, oh my God, this wasn't that hard. But I will tell you what's funny is when I go back to my first video, it's like this. Hi, I'm Peter. Welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. I don't know what makes me different than other people. I guess I just am. I don't know. It's so funny because I'm like so like not natural in front of the camera. And I'm a believer that real knows real. So if I just sit down here, you guys, and I'm myself, you're either going to like me or you're not going to like me. And I can't do anything about that. I hope you like me. I hope you like me and subscribe to me because that would make me happy. But anyway, I don't know. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I was very nervous to upload my first video, but it worked out and I love it. And I love to make videos, which is why I sometimes make 2 a day like I did today. I love your support. I love you guys watching it and Snapchatting me and tweeting me and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I love you and I hope you enjoy my videos. And if you want to see more of me, then subscribe to me and I will make the videos that you want because I live for you. No, but seriously, it makes me so happy. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Oh, and who should I tag? Adam at Mintamori. Okay, bye.